I don't want to steal any thunder, but one thing I do want to just let the board know that the complexity of what's getting ready to happen cannot be undersold, because what is getting ready to happen over the next 2 months is going to be incredibly complicated, incredibly time-consuming, and really on par with the work that got done in July and August to start the year. So if we want to think about it this way, it's almost like we're doing 2 full years in one. The work in the summer was to prepare us for the first half of the year, but really the year. And then now the work in October, November, December will be laying the foundation for really what is going to be almost a new, completely new year, second semester. So I don't think I stole any of your thunder. I hope I provided some context to it. So Dr. Smith, if you would, walk us through a little bit about what's going to take place between now over the next couple weeks.
Sure. Madam Chair and Board, I'm here tonight to talk to you a little bit about the process of second semester scheduling, but I always like to take a point of privilege and thank my team. So I wanted to mention a couple of people and groups before I got started. First, I'd like to thank Thesa Briggs and the IT team, as well as Howard Bissell and Margaret Ann White, and they're part of the Lula team, who are taking hours and hours to help make this process more seamless for us, thinking through troubleshooting and different strategies we can use to make it easier on schools. But with that said, the lion's share of the work, honestly, is happening at the school level. So I want to thank our school records operators, our school administrators, and our school counselors who have already been spending hours meeting with students and looking at student schedules so that the second semester roll-in of learning can be more seamless for students. So they are doing a lion's share of the work. I appreciate them so much. And if you see a school records operator, a school administrator, or a school counselor, please give them a pat on the back for everything they're doing. So to begin tonight, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about kind of a balcony view of the work that we will be doing between now and January 19th when second semester starts. And to help prepare for that, our district scheduling team, as well as the school-based teams, will be doing the high-level tasks you see listed on the slide. But as you can imagine, there's like a mountain of work that happens behind the scenes to make these things happen. And that's being done by multiple departments in the district, as well as our school teams. So some of that work includes things like creating systems to send out surveys. That's not just we stick it in School Messenger and it works. It also includes individually changing student schedules at the school level. It includes assigning student cohorts and even translating communications to families as needed. It will also include inputting grades and attendance back into the system should a student have to change from one environment to another. We also will be working with transportation to redesign bus routes, and we're going to have to go back in and rebalance cohorts and rebalance sections as needed once we see the numbers that come in and out of Lula. So it's requiring a lot of work. It's not easy, but we have the best scheduling teams on the planet in Lexington 1, so I know that we're definitely stronger together. But that work can't be done without our families, right? So I wanted to make sure that we kind of talked about the decision point that has to be made. And it's a super important one for every single family to make. And it's all around whether they're going to choose the face-to-face environment or the online learning academy environment for second semester. And so to help clarify that for the board, I wanted to define those once again really quickly. So when we say the face-to-face environment, what we mean is that what we should say is that the environment may look different depending on the current spread of COVID-19 throughout the semester. So that could be a 4-day, like the 4+1 model that we've started the past 2 weeks. It could be a 5-day model at some point, but it also could mean the AABB hybrid model. So I wanted families and the board to know that face-to-face does not guarantee one singular type of schedule. It will really depend on what we see with COVID. The other option is the Online Learning Academy, and that, of course, is our 100% virtual option for families. And again, this is a mix between synchronous virtual work through things like Zoom, as well as asynchronous work using our learning management system. So when families pick that, it will be a mix. All right, so we know that's a big decision for families, and we want to make sure that families have a chance to make an informed one. So In the next 2 weeks, we'll be sending out some important emails through School Messenger to every single caregiver or family in the district. And the first one will come out this Friday, October 23rd, and it's kind of like a for your information email. And in that email, we're going to include a link to the Online Learning Academy course catalog, which outlines courses that could potentially be offered. And potential, that word, I underlined it and bolded it. That's a real intentional word choice that I made. I wanted the board and families to understand that the number of courses that we offer, what we can offer, and how we staff it is really going to depend on what comes in through those surveys. So it's a potential list of courses. The other thing that I wanted families to know or kind of look out for, there will also be a link to a list of suggested supports that families could provide to students should they pick the Online Learning Academy environment. So I would highly suggest, I think it's super critical for families to really look at the catalog, to study the email and all the information that's included so that they can make the best choice for their children and their family. So to follow up, a second email will go out October 29th through School Messenger. And in that email, that's when the second semester survey link will be sent to families. And so because we know that was a little bit tricky last time, I wanted to make sure families heard us say that they will get a survey link, like a separate email for every single child that lives in their household. So it's important that they go in and do that survey for every single child that lives in their household. Just a couple of tips to put out there if you should be asked by families about the survey. The first one is that we really ask that they not change any of the information in the student information section. So that would be things like the current school that's listed, their first and last name, or their student ID number. All of that comes from PowerSchool, and it's critical that it match what schools see when they're trying to schedule for second semester. So if families will leave that part of the survey alone, we would appreciate it. Also, there's an important question in the survey around whether families will need district bus transportation, and so we're trying to collect that information now to help bus transportation reroute buses and groups as needed. So, of course, we'll use all of that information to plan for second semester, and because it's so critical that we have it in a timely fashion, we're asking that families will please complete the survey by Wednesday, November 4th. We recognize that's a quick turnaround, but again, the mountain of work that follows, this survey is kind of our hinge point. The mountain of work that must follow that's the survey response is quite a lot. So we appreciate families' help with that. So just 3 other quick things. This will be my fastest presentation about reentry ever, so I'm really proud of myself for being succinct. So 3 quick things just to share. First, the survey results will impact the number of teachers that we have in the face-to-face environment at the school level, as well as who will be teaching online courses. I also wanted to mention that when a family chooses the Online Learning Academy, they are making a commitment for the semester. And then lastly, we ask that caregivers not go in and do the survey again for a child. And what we mean by that is not that you can't change your mind. If for some reason you made the wrong choice or you just have questions, we just ask, instead of redoing the survey, that you call your school directly and someone at the school level will help you make changes to whatever you selected. So again, it's a lot of work, but we have the best team in the state or the country to make this happen in a timely fashion. And so I am confident in our ability to be ready for second semester. And I'm here for questions if you have any.
All right, I'm going to ask the question that I know that I'm anticipating a question. If parents do not respond to the survey, does their child default to what their environment is for the fall, or will they get a contact from the school?
That's a great question. So the way, remember how I said we had to set up the system to make the survey work? The way that works is that until you answer the survey, you're either going to be pinged by school messenger to do it, or schools will start calling you and asking. We're not going to depend on, we don't want to depend on it just defaulting, because there may be some technological glitch that may be getting in the way of a parent or a guardian from answering that survey.
So the absence of a response is not a response.
Right.
What is the process for evaluating the current, so getting the current model, so getting feedback on user experience, parent experience, those kind of things from the community? How has that been handled? Has that been kind of more sort of organic feedback, or has there been anything formalized as we look to move forward? Because obviously, to move forward, we want to evaluate where we have been, where we are, and where we're going. And so what does that sort of systematically look like?
So I know that Dr. Little and SLT has collected feedback from different core groups, which included parents and staff. The Lula team, the Online Learning Academy team, has something that we call a work plan, and part of that work plan really is to garner feedback from different groups. And that would include sending surveys to students around their experience, which they've done multiple times already, to the teachers, and their plan is to reach out to families as well, so that there's a feedback loop to improve what's happening in the Online Learning Academy level. Dr. Little, do you want to talk about feedback that you've gotten from hybrid?
Yeah, so we are, in fact, one of the big things coming up, I believe, is November 2nd. We have our Parent Advisory Committee. We moved it to November to make sure we had enough time to get feedback. So every time we make one of these transitions, we're wanting to get feedback on that previous transition. So we got lots of feedback on the hybrid model. Then we've gotten feedback. Now we want to get feedback on the 4+1 model, and so we'll be doing that. What we want to be careful with on our end is not sending out too many surveys, because then people get, so what we want to do is we want to get this one in first and then begin to do our system evaluation stuff after that, in terms of the larger face-to-face stuff, where we gather some more feedback on that, where we plan, to give us time to plan. But this is the first big thing of our face-to-face, and then we'll do we'll do more of the model evaluation as we get the whole model rolled in December.
I guess I just want to say thank you, because again, y'all have planned 2 school years in one, and again, and it's been on shifting sand. So I just want to say thank you.
Thank you. We have the best schools and administrators and staff working on this project. So I couldn't do it with a better team.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Smith.